Hi guys. Alright, I'm going to try and be as coherent as possible. There's a little background on me. I was in the United States Navy during Desert Storm in 1991. The ship I was on was a guided missile cruiser. We were doing carrier guard duty in the Persian Gulf during the war. We directed airstrikes into Iraq. We directed air fuel, air-to-air refuelings, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where my background comes from. And when I see a headline from Debka file, it says U.S. naval movements around Syria, Hizballah moves rockets. It makes me wonder what the hell's going on. First off, the U.S. in June 13th, the USS deployed the U.S. Bataan amphibian air carrier strike vessel opposite Syria's Mediterranean coast. The thing's got 2,000 Marines, 6 warplanes, 15 attack helicopters, including V-2 Ospreys, and 27 choppers for landing forces. That's what this thing does. It doesn't support anything but a ground invasion. Why would they have this here unless they are anticipating something like that? And when our president's been telling us, no, we're not going to get on the ground, we're not going to put boots on the ground, that's very, very disconcerting, especially when you have other countries in the region like Russia worried about things like this article, where we've put a USS guided missile cruiser in the Black Sea for naval exercises with the Ukraine. Okay, on the surface, naval exercises, big deal, right? Okay. On the surface, that seems okay, but when you look at what this alleged exercise is, let me find it. Let's see. The role of the U.S. warships missiles in the Sea Breeze 2011 anti-piracy exercises is also unclear. The reason it's unclear, guys, is because you don't need a frickin' guided missile cruiser to conduct anti-piracy exercises. You want really fast ships like frigates and things like that. Guided missile cruisers, especially this one with the Aegis missile system, they don't shoot ship-to-ship missiles. They shoot surface-to-air missiles to do things like, shoot down planes, like Russian planes, or they do things to, intercept other missiles. So clearly, this warship has no business in the Black Sea unless they're planning something, or they're worried about something, like whether or not Russia might get involved if suddenly we go into Syria. Which brings me to the next article. What is unfolding? This is the destabilization of Syria and the broader Middle East war. This is on globalresearch.ca. I'm going to post all these links so you can see it. But here it says, what unfolding in Syria is an armed insurrection supported covertly by foreign powers, including the U.S., Turkey, and Israel. Armed insurgents belonging to Islamist organizations have crossed the border from Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan. The U.S. State Department has confirmed that it is supporting the insurgency. The United States is to expand contacts with the Syrians who are counting on a regime change in the country. This was stated by U.S. State Department official Victoria Nuland. We started to expand contacts with the Syrians, those who are calling for change both inside and outside the country, blah, blah, blah. That's rhetoric. They have something else going on here. Maybe they do want regime change, but they're certainly not just going to expand contacts. There's no reason they're going to do that and also have what was it? The USS Bataan amphibious air carrier strike vessel right there off the coast of Syria. No, there's something bigger going on. And we go down here and look a little deeper. The destabilization of Syria and Lebanon as sovereign countries has been on the drawing board of the U.S., NATO, Israel military alliance for the past, or for at least 10 years. 10 years they've been planning this crap. Action against Syria is part of a military roadmap, a sequencing of military operations. According to former NATO Commander General Wesley Clark, the Pentagon had clearly identified Iraq, Libya, Syria, and Lebanon as target countries of a U.S. NATO intervention. To quote, the 5-year campaign plan included a total of 7 countries, beginning with Iraq, then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Iran, Somalia, and Sudan. Which makes you wonder, why do we got this destabilization going on in Tunisia? Why are we, we're obviously getting ready to go into Libya, so we're looking to take over almost the entire region, guys. Anyway, reading on. As I went back through the Pentagon in November 2001, one of the senior military staff officers had a time for a chat. Yes, we were still on track for going against Iraq, he said, but there was more. This was being discussed as part of a 5-year campaign plan, and there was a total of 7 countries, beginning with the ones I just stated. He said it with reproach, with disbelief, almost at the breadth of the vision. I moved the conversation away, for this was not something I wanted to hear, and it was not something I wanted to see moving forward either. I left the Pentagon deeply concerned. The role of Turkey. The center of the insurrection is now shifted to a small border town of Jiz al-Shigur, 10 kilometers from the Turkish border. The city has a population of 44,000 inhabitants. Armed insurgents have crossed the border into Syria from Turkey. Members of the Muslim Brotherhood are reported to have taken up arms in northwest Syria. The Muslim Brotherhood is also the organization who is de facto in control of Egypt. So, this is just another dot that's being connected. There's a lot of stuff in here, guys, and I hope that you read it all and post this virally. I'll post all the links in the show notes. This is something to be very, very concerned about. I've also heard rumors. I haven't confirmed those rumors that we're sending warships through the Suez Canal into the Mediterranean, and that makes no sense. Basically you had the Pacific Fleet and you had the Atlantic Fleet. Well, the Atlantic Fleet generally patrols the area of the Mediterranean Sea and obviously the Atlantic Ocean, while the Pacific Fleet protects our interest in the Pacific Ocean, and we also go into the Persian Gulf. But you don't see the Pacific Fleet going up into the Suez Canal unless something's going on. It's just, you just don't see it. It doesn't happen. There's a reason we have a Pacific and an Atlantic Fleet, so these warships can patrol different parts of the world without having any overlap. So something's clearly happening here. Also, you guys might have seen my other post about that Alex Jones posted about a possible ground invasion of Libya. All this information I've just shown you sort of confirms that. I'm wondering if they're actually going to put boots on the ground in Syria before they do a Lebanon thing. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, a Libya thing. Yeah, I'm starting to ramble here, but this has really got me worried. Continue prepping people, especially just prep, because if we really move into Syria, which is which is critical because this is really close to Russia, and they're already mad that we're in the Black Sea with no real reason to be there. If this can really escalate and get out of control, and Russia and China are allies, Iran's an ally with both China and Russia, we might be looking at the beginnings of World War III here. So post this virally, get this message out to as many people as you want. I'm praying for you all. I love you all. Take care.